New technology is helping us overcome the world's toughest challenges. And as technology's new pioneers, you need all of the tools, platforms, and resources to move innovation where it has to go. To drive us toward a safer, cleaner world. With advanced power and sensor solutions for electric and autonomous vehicles, allowing you to see, hear, and feel the road ahead. Our industrial and cloud power solutions are advancing robotics and helping to build clean, energy-efficient innovations for a data-driven world. With smart buildings and smart factories, we are creating new, connected ecosystems, ones where a healthy bottom line and a healthy planet are achieved the exact same way. At On Semiconductor, we provide talented engineers with the creative solutions and the tools to meet the world's greatest challenges. Because now, having the right tools matters more than ever. The world will move wherever we take it. So, where to next? You bring the talent, we bring the tools.
Welcome to today's On Semiconductor Technology webinar. The topic that we have here today is event-triggered imaging using the RSL10 Smartshot camera. I'm Matt Vaness with On Semiconductor, and I'll be the moderator. If you have any technical difficulties during the whole session, you can click on the help icon at the top of your web page. And at the end of the webinar, we'll be holding a Q&A session to answer any questions that you have. So, during the webinar then, if you look at the right side of your screen, you can type in any question that you have throughout the webinar, and we'll answer them all at the end of the webinar. This will also be recorded here and posted at onsemi.com, so you'll be notified at the email address that you registered with when the webinar is available. So let's meet today's presenter. Raj Nagarajan is an experienced product leader specializing in building and marketing embedded IoT products and developing partner and developer ecosystems. He's played a vital role in launching many innovative products like the Xilinx Zinc SoC, Renesas Synergy IoT platform, and Samsung Arctic IoT platform. Raj now serves as the Director of IoT Strategic Marketing at On Semiconductor. So let me turn things now over to you, Raj. It's all you.
Hey, thanks, Matt, and hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. I wanted to talk to you guys about a new vision solution that we are launched as part of our IoT product portfolio. So here's the agenda of today's webinar. So I will give you an overview of the Smartshot camera. We will follow that up with our recorded demo that we have of the entire solution. I'll be then going over some of the use cases that applies to this solution, something that you are already thinking about, and then finally we'll wrap it up with some of the resources that you have for your development. And then, as Matt mentioned, we will have a question and answers at the end, towards the end of this presentation. So at IoT, the IoT at On, we've kind of focused on 4 different verticals here. These are the connected lighting, industrial automation, smart home and buildings, and asset management. So we kind of leverage the broad product portfolios that we have, and we bring to market different IoT platforms that offer different connectivity options, different sensor nodes. As well, we launched a LiDAR-based solution as well late last year. In addition to the hardware platforms that we launched, we are also working with technology partners who kind of complement the solution that we have to offer. So we have a lot of expertise, and we have actually built a lot of ultra low power, sensor platforms. So this started with the multi-sensor node, which has a great usage in the asset management, and we do work with a few partners like Coupa in bringing to you real-time location services. We also have secure beacon with a few of our partners, and as you can see here, we kind of are working on further, improving these solutions by adding low power sensors and new tags. In addition to that, we are also focused on a lot of battery-free energy harvesting, solutions as well. We have some already which work on solar power and vibration-based energy harvesting solutions. And we are working on few solutions which would offer 24/7 battery-free sensor as well. So we have a lot of, expertise and capabilities in ultra-low power sensor platforms. And if you look at vision is also becoming a pretty important sensing capability for a lot of IoT applications out there. And we at ON have a pretty broad product portfolio of image sensors, which have applications in automotive, industrial, as well, in consumer space. But there's actually a gap in having a lot of in vision solutions that are kind of focused more on machine vision based applications, which offer ultra low power capabilities. So with that in mind, we have launched the RSL10 Smartshot camera. And this camera platform has been designed to enable you customers to build battery-operated camera solutions that's portable, that's ultra low power. And we also have a lot of sensors in the camera itself, which would allow you to, set different event trigger conditions and also allow you to do an edge-to-cloud connectivity where you can do imaging analytics based on the image that was captured by the camera. So this camera solution has uses in asset management, smart home and buildings, smart retail, as well as smart agriculture. As I mentioned in the presentation, I will talk about a few of the use cases that we see from our customers for this camera platform. So let's look at the key features of this Smartshot camera. So one is, of course, the event-triggered imaging that we are enabling with this platform. So if you look at most of the times, the output from a camera doesn't add any valuable insights. So if you actually, spend time processing these outputs, then you are kind of wasting, you're processing resources. You're also draining, you're wasting bandwidth if the processing is done externally. As well, you're kind of most importantly, draining your battery performance of your solution. So, so in addition to the motion sensor that you actually see in most of the cameras, we have also introduced other sensors. We have accelerometers, we have temperature sensors, humidity sensors, and pressure sensors. And we allow users to set trigger conditions either based on a single sensor event, single sensor, or a combination of sensors. And this allows you to create new trigger conditions, as well it kind of extends the overall system battery life performance. And talking about battery life performance, we have a lot of ultra low power components part of this camera platform, and the goal has been to kind of offer a solution which would have a battery life of more than 1 year. Again, it's use case specific. We'll talk more about that later as well. But the goal is at least to have 1 year plus of battery life with this camera platform. So if you look at the ultra low power components, we actually use RSL10, which is an industry's lowest power Bluetooth low energy solution. The image sensing capability is provided by the image sensor that we use is based off ARX3A0 on semiconductor image sensor. And we also use low power IoT ISP from one of our partners, SunPlus IT. And we have made sure that we have also the power management capabilities that ON has to enable both battery operation as well USB powered operation for this camera platform. In terms of the imaging itself, the current camera is actually a black and white camera, which is perfectly suitable for a lot of machine vision application. It is actually VGA resolution camera, so it kind of like 560 by 560 resolution that it offers. And the image sensor also has near infrared capabilities, so which kind of gives you a better low light performance as well. And most importantly, this sensor is pretty compact, which allows you to build these small cameras. And as I mentioned, we enable the edge to cloud connectivity. There's actually a mobile app that we provide so that you can actually out of the box do that edge to cloud connectivity and also interact with the camera platform. So the BLE, the Bluetooth Low Energy connectivity from the camera to the mobile app, as I mentioned to you, is provided by the RSL10. And for the out of the box experience, we have integrated this solution with the AWS recognition, and where we kind of show how you can do simple things like object classification of the image that was captured, image captured. This is the hardware, the board itself. As you can see here in the center, we have the ARX3A0 image sensor. We actually use a IAS module. It's actually a module which has the sensor and the lens as well. This is a sensor that ON Semiconductor has defined, and you would see this module being used by different other sensors as well. That's part of the ON product portfolio. So it kind of allows you to swap the sensors as image sensor as well, if you want to. And the RSL10 is the one that's providing the BLE connectivity. We actually use a system in package, which is a completely certified BLE solution that we offer. And as I mentioned, we also have a lot of all the other components to power manage power as well. So the idea here is to give you all the components which you can use to build production ready commercial camera platform. And if you look at the block diagram, we have spent a lot of effort to ensure that the overall system performance, system battery performance is pretty good. So with that in mind, we have actually isolated the imaging capability, the image sensor, and the ISP into a separate power rail. And typically what we do is when you arm the camera with the when you set some trigger conditions and you arm the camera, usually we shut off the entire image sensing block, and the system kind of goes into low power mode, and those are turned on only when the events are triggered. So again, the key here is to reduce the overall system performance of the camera solution. And if you look at the flow, how it works. So out of the box, you can just go and download the Smartshot app that we have, the mobile app that we have. It's available both on Android as well as on the iOS platform. And using this mobile app, you can actually, kind of control the camera module. You can actually set these trigger conditions. You will actually see that in the demo. You can set the trigger conditions, and then you can arm the camera. And when the trigger conditions are hit, the camera captures the image and then sends it to the mobile app. Now, you can actually do processing on the mobile app itself, but just to show you the entire connectivity, the analysis is done on the cloud. In this case, we have actually chosen to use a AWS, recognition for that purposes. You can, of course, use any other solutions as well. And we perform image classification of the data, and it's kind of like, displayed on the mobile app. So out of the box, you can, try out all the features of the camera without and of course, and the cloud connectivity as well, without having to change any code. So while that is very important, it's good to have, try out, different things. We want to ensure that for use cases, for enterprise, customers who need to work with gateway, instead of a mobile app, work with a gateway, and also who have requirements in terms of onboarding multiple of these, camera solutions, as well doing device management, things like OTA and remotely, controlling your camera platform. We have integrated this camera solution into Bosch IoT suite. As you know, Bosch IoT suite is enterprise grade solution, which kind of allows folks to quickly, scale from prototyping to, production. And we have made sure that these camera can be onboarded, and all the device management, capability are supported with the Bosch IoT suite. In terms of managing the data itself, you can either do it using the mobile app, or you can do it with some other solutions. So you do have that option of working with Bosch IoT suite. And in addition to Bosch, we have also been working very closely with Avnet. Like last month, we kind of announced this partnership with Avnet IoT Connect, where we integrate, again, our IoT platforms to work with the Avnet IoT Connect. So what this solution will provide to our customers is not only the onboarding and the device management, but also kind of the ability to remotely control the camera, set trigger conditions, capture the image, and also do the processing of the image either on the gateway or on the IoT Connect, the cloud solution, which is which is based off Microsoft Azure. So the combination of Bosch IoT suite and Avnet IoT Connect, we think that our enterprise class customers would be able to do much more applications using this camera platform. And if you look at the battery performance of the camera, so we did some analysis, and in this analysis we used a lithium battery, which was of 1,700 milliamp hour capacity. So it's a pretty low, small battery, and we have made sure, as I sure that the imaging is kind of shut down when the events are triggered, and it's turned on only when needed. And if you look at the chart over here, on the x-axis, you actually see number of pictures that has been captured in a day. So this range from just some use cases which require only one pictures that you need to take in a day, to some use cases, let's say it requires 100 pictures to be taken in a day. And on the vertical, these bars that you see here, those capture the number of days that a battery would last for those use cases. So as you can see here, the battery performance ranges from 1 year, if you're taking 100 pictures in a day, to almost 3 years if you're just taking 1 pictures a day. So so depending on the use case, your camera battery performance, lifetime performance could last anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Again, as I mentioned, this is a pretty small battery that we are using. If you look at any typical imaging solution, you would see actually a bigger battery, which is around 3,000 to 4,000 milliamps hour. So using a smaller battery, kind of enables you to build this compact camera and also give you that battery lifetime performance for the users. All right. So with that, let's look at, the recorded demo that we have for you. And then we can talk about use cases and other platform resources that we have for the developers out there.
This is the RSL10 Smartshot camera platform. You can build a battery-operated camera that is portable, ultra-low power, which will capture image when triggered by sensor events. It offers edge-to-cloud connectivity via Bluetooth Low Energy. In this demo, we use AWS recognition to perform image classification of the image that is captured by the camera. The key features of this platform is this compact ARX3A0 image sensor that captures black and white image at 560 by 560 VGA resolution. The RSL10 provides a Bluetooth low energy connectivity, which is industry's lowest BLE solution. The camera uses a low power IoT ISP from our partner SunPlus IT, and we have packed the camera with a lot of sensors that allow you to set event triggers to capture image. These sensors include motion sensors, accelerometers, temperature and humidity sensors. And you also have an option to power the camera using a battery or USB. In this demo, I will power the camera using the USB interface. In addition to the camera, we also provide you with a mobile app, RSL10 Smartshot, that is available on both iOS and Android platforms. In this demo, I will be using an iPhone, but the user interface is the same on both platforms. So let us get started with the demo. So I've turned on the camera via USB, and then I will be using the mobile app to control the camera. So when the camera is turned on, by default it goes into the advertising mode, waiting for the connection from the mobile app. When I open the mobile app, you can see the Smartshot camera listed on the main screen. So when I go ahead and select the camera here, it will then connect to the camera via BLE, and then it will actually bring to this screen here where you can interact with the camera. So you can you can take a picture by clicking this icon here, and whatever picture the camera will do, then transfer that picture over via BLE, and it will be displayed on this mobile app. You can also, save this picture to your phone using this icon over here. Now let's see how we can, set sensor events using this mobile app. So when you click this settings button here, you see a lot of options wherein you can actually control the camera as well, set the sensor. If you would like to take not just single image, but a continuous stream of images, you can do that by toggling this switch here. The camera is capable of generating one image, one frame per second. But of course, you can change this slider here to change that frequency. You can also toggle and turn on the motion sensor, and of course, turn on the accelerometer. In this case, the camera would wait for either the motion to be detected or a vibration to be detected to take the image. And of course, you also can, toggle the temperature sensor and the humidity sensor, and you can actually set the range, the lower limit and the upper limit of the temperature. And whenever the temperature goes out of that limit, then it would actually, trigger. So let's, in this case, let's do a let's just enable the motion sensor and then see what the camera does. Now, as you can see, we have enabled the motion sensor. So the camera is, triggered, and it's waiting for the event to occur. At this point, the camera turns off the image sensor and the ISP to maximize the battery usage. Now, let me try to pick up the. So when I tried to pick up the cup here, you saw that the motion was triggered and the image was captured. So now you can similarly you can play with a lot of other sensors using those setting options. As I mentioned to you before, we have integrated the camera platform with AWS recognition to perform image classification in the cloud. You will need an AWS account for this. You can either create a new one, or if you have an existing AWS account, you can use it, and you would have to enter the AWS credentials in the mobile app. Now I have already entered my credentials in the app. I would suggest you refer the getting started guide on how to go about doing it. Now let's do the image classification of this image captured here. Let's see, it can identify what this image is. And the way to do it is just click this button here. This uploads this image to the AWS, and then it actually prints out the output. As you can see here, it has correctly classified this image to be a coffee cup or a cup. Now let's try out with another object. Now let's see if the classifier can classify what this is. There you go. It has classified this as to be a bottle, and it's kind of drawn a boundary around this object that was classified. As you can see, the RSL Smartshot camera is a compact machine vision camera which offers long battery performance using event-based image capture. The AWS integration allows you to perform image analytics in the cloud. Please visit the ON Semiconductor website for more information.
Cool. Yeah, I hope the demo gave you a better idea as to how the solution works. So let's look at some of the use cases which are applicable for this camera. The key, as I said, the ability, the compact form factor, the ultra low power, as well the wireless connectivity that we offer this cameras that we offer as part of this camera solution makes it suitable for applications which are like battery operated, which can also be used in places where it's hard to reach, right? So those are and here are some of the use cases. Like one is, of course, you can use it as a in-car cabin monitor, where the people would want to monitor the child wellness in the rear seat. The idea here is not to do a continuous monitoring, but maybe monitor when the kid is awake, or the kid is in distress, and then ability to view it in your mobile phone. The other application is the camera in the safety helmet camera of a factory worker, so you can actually use it to detect fall detection, like to improve the safety of the factory worker, and also it can be used to log log the sensors as well the images around the factory of the worker. Now, empty shelf detection is a pretty big problem in the retail space. Some estimates are around there's a loss of $1 trillion globally because of empty shelf. So we are seeing our customers where they use these compact cameras which are placed in the aisle and which capture these images at regular periodic intervals, and then the analysis is kind of done on the cloud or in the store. In terms of there are a lot of these meters, analog and digital meters, and if you have to replace these meters, it's quite expensive. So one of the ways to kind of automatically do meter reading from these meters is to kind of retrofit them with the camera. Again, the Smartshot actually offers it's a very good fit for such an application. It can also be used in inventory management, where you could actually have a camera in the shopping cart, and it can be used to ensure that all the items that are in the shopping cart have been built. And finally, it also has application in the smart agriculture. Like you could actually have cameras in the greenhouse to kind of monitor and log crop growth. And you can also visually, check if everything is okay remotely, depending on the sensors, that we have. So these are just some of the, applications. There are, many more applications where the Smartshot camera is suitable. In terms of resources, we have a lot of resources in terms of blogs, as well a small video for you to get a better understanding about the solution that we offer. And we also for the software developers, we provide you with a software package which can be used to develop your end app. If you want to customize your application that's running on the RSL10, you can actually do that. So we have IDE as well. We have software packages which are accessible on our website. And in addition to what I just spoke, we also have a lot of documentation. For you to get started, quickly. This would kind of go through some of the things that I showed you on the demo. As well, there are detailed, user manuals and software manuals for you to customize the solution. We also offer the BOM, the schematics and the Gerber files of the kit that you just saw. And as I mentioned, we provide you all the software necessary for you to customize and build your solution. So here's a look at the different IoT platforms that we have. We have, as I mentioned to you earlier on, a lot of multi-sensor nodes which are used in a lot of applications. We also have a range of energy harvesting solutions, as well connected lighting platforms. And RSL Smartshot camera is the kind of a newer addition that brings in the vision capability to this product portfolio. And it enables the customers to kind of build battery operated, low power, event triggered machine vision camera. So you have all the resources, and please visit the website to get more information. I would suggest you get the kits as well the app for you to get started with this platform. With that, I'm happy to answer a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions that I saw actually were coming through. So yeah, let's look at those questions. And please feel free to enter your questions on the chat window so that we can answer them here.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Raj. Thanks for going through the presentation. And yeah, like you said, like you saw, we got a ton of questions here coming in. So I'm going to start asking them here. Okay. And if anyone else, if you didn't get your question in yet, still put it in the chat box, and we'll get to them here at the end now.
Sure.
So the first one I got for you, Raj, what's the battery life?
Yeah, so as you saw in the presentation, right? So the battery life kind of depends on your use cases. So in some of the use cases, like say for example, the water meter reading, right? You usually take pictures only once in a day, and not more than that. And in that use cases, you can actually get a battery life performance of more than 3 years. In the case of the empty shelf detection that we were talking about, typically you kind of take maybe anywhere between 10 to 20 images per day. And for those kind of applications, you would get a battery lifetime of 2 years or so. So yeah, so it again, depends on your use case. But the key thing that I want to highlight here is that even with a small battery, capacity, we get you can achieve a longer lifetime with the Smartshot, so which allows you to again, build a pretty compact camera for your use cases.
All right, thank you, Raj. Next one I got here. Can you add any external sensors?
Right. Not in this particular, platform. There's no easy way to add external, sensors. But as I mentioned to you, we do provide you with the hardware design files, as well the software. So you can definitely, customize your solution to add other sensors that you would be interested in as part of your camera platform.
All right, thanks, Raj. Got another one for you here. What will be the time delay between event trigger and camera waking up?
Right. Yeah. So that's a good question. As I said, we kind of turn off the imaging subsystem when the events are armed. So based on our current implementation, so it takes around maybe 1 second, to wake up the image processing subsystem once the event is triggered, and maybe another 1 second for you to transfer these images over BLE to the mobile app. So we are looking at anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds time delay when the image is captured and it's available on the gateway platform. So yeah, so you have to be, again, it depends on the use cases that we are targeting, but that's the time delay that you would see in image capture on this platform.
All right, thanks, Raj. So for this next question, I'm not familiar myself with the other product, but hopefully you are.
Okay.
What is the difference between your product compared to Verkada in terms of durability, weather hardness, data storage?
Right. Actually, I don't know about that product as well. But so this is not an end product, as you can see here. This is definitely a enabler platform with all the components. Having said that, we are definitely working with a few ODM vendors as well, who can actually provide you with who can start with this reference that we have and build an end solution that would be easily suitable for a lot of customers.
Awesome, thanks, Raj. So we got another one here for you. Is there a security rating for the Smartshot camera?
We don't. There isn't any security rating, for this Smartshot camera, but you do have, few options here. For example, we work with a partner called Veridify. They actually offer software-based, encryption, and some of their solutions that it's a pretty, kind of fits into the MCU. And some of their solutions are ISO 26262 ASIL-D, certified solution. So you can use our partner solution to say if you want to kind of encrypt, the data bit from the BLE to the mobile app or the gateway, you can use their solution, which are certified. So that's one option for you to use it on this camera platform. The other option is we also have a partner, WiseKey. So they actually, have secure elements. So while the WiseKey solution is not used in the camera platform itself, we have another a sensor node where we have integrated the RSL10 with the secure element. So it's all ready and out there. But unfortunately, it's not integrated into the camera platform. So there's some amount of work that you need to do, and both of these solutions are certified. As I said, the Veridify certified, ASIL-D certified, The WiseKey solutions are, Common Core certifications. They have Common Core certification. So those are the options for you if you want to, get your camera system certified for security.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj. So I got another one here related to the topic. Is this in-pixel event-based imaging? For example, is a sensor sensitive to scene changes?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. The ARX3A0 sensor has a capability of, it's called you can specify a region of interest. So you can actually tell the camera to kind of look at this particular regions. And if there is any, motion, then it would actually, trigger image capture. So the sensor is capable of, doing that. We haven't enabled that in the demo that you just saw, but you can definitely, do that kind of imaging-based event handling as well, using the sensor that's on this camera.
All right, perfect. The next question I have for you here. Is it possible to have direct connection between RSL10?
Well, I'm not very clear what kind of use case that you are referring here. Of course,
I'm guessing maybe this is between different RSL10s if you have multiple.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can. You can. Have two RSL10s. Talk to each other. That's possible. But again, I would have to understand what the use case here is. One possible use case I can think of is for example, we have this energy harvesting switch that I talked about, right? Which has the energy harvesting switch as well, the RSL10. You could maybe use that switch, to control the camera. So when you press, the switch, then it kind of triggers image capture. So you can, do that kind of communication as well, between RSL10s.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj. So here we have a question. Is the camera good for night vision, or does it have an IR filter on it?
Right. So the IAS module that we currently use on the camera does have an IR filter. But the sensor itself, as I mentioned to you, does support near infrared capability. So you can actually use the sensor for nighttime conditions or low light, conditions. You can definitely do that. But the IAS module that has been used in this camera does have an IR filter, so it would kind of that NIR near infrared capability is not used in this particular IAS module in this particular solution.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Raj. So we still got a lot of questions to go through. Okay. And I believe this one may have been shown in the video, but if you could talk a little about it. Do we have any pictures available of the battery?
I don't have it right now, but I think if you go to our website, I think you should have a picture of the battery. That we recommend for you to use. If you go to one of the user manual, you should see the picture of the battery that we recommend you use with this camera.
Perfect. So that can be found at onsemi.com. So you can find pictures of it on there.
Yeah.
And so you talked about for machine vision applications, it's good for there's black and white imaging, but are there any color image sensors by Semiconductor that can be supported by the board?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, ON has a pretty broad portfolio of image sensors. These are image sensors, as I mentioned, different resolutions. We have image sensors which are based on rolling shutter. Some are global shutter. Specifically, for the ARX3A0, we do have a color version as well of the same image sensor, and we are planning to launch that as well. So maybe in the next 2 months or so, you should actually see color camera as well using the same ARX3A sensor. So yeah, so there is a plan to launch on this platform, and as I mentioned, ON has a pretty broad portfolio of image sensors as well.
Thanks, Raj. So everyone stay tuned. There's more coming.
Yes. Yeah.
Next question I have is about the accelerometer. So what is the accelerometer on it, and what does it detect?
Yeah, so the accelerometer is kind of used to detect, say, the vibrations, right? So, and also motion. So, for example, if you want to detect, say, the vibration of a machine, or if you want to detect motion sensing, right? Gestures and things like that. I talked about an use case where it can be used in the camera, the security helmet camera. So if you want to detect fall detection and things like that, that's where you use accelerometer. So it kind of functions more of a vibration sensor or a motion sensor. Motion sensor. Yeah.
Yep, perfect. Thanks, Raj. So the video we showed may have went a little bit fast.
Oh.
So can you talk a little about what it was going through? We have a question. I didn't see an image captured of the cup with the motion detection. Is it supposed to take a picture? And what's the time lag for the image capture and motion detection?
Right. I think we kind of touched upon the time lag. As I mentioned, it kind of takes anywhere between 1 to 2 seconds when the event is detected and when you actually see the image on the mobile phone. I didn't see the image captured up in the motion detected. I think maybe the motion was maybe pretty subtle. I guess when I moved my hand in front of the camera, I think it kind of triggered the event, I suppose. So yeah, that's why probably you wouldn't have seen the object itself moving. It was, I think, triggered by my hand moving. But yes, when that's detected, it takes anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds for the image to be captured by the gateway or the mobile app.
Perfect. Thanks, Raj. And that video that we showed too, the 6-minute demo video, you'll be able to find that on onsemi.com as well too.
Yeah.
So you can view that later on as well too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now about the camera for outdoor use. Is the camera IP rated for outdoor use?
No, you can use it for outdoor use as well. In terms of ratings, I don't know. We have not done that. But definitely it has a very good contrast ratio. You can use it both for outdoor as well for indoor users.
Perfect. So another application, you talked about it being used for in-cabin monitoring for automotive, but we got an interesting one here. So can it be used as a car dashboard monitor if one were in a crash, for example, or to record driving if one were pulled over by a policeman?
Yeah, absolutely. You can, do that. And the good thing is this camera is pretty compact, right? So you can kind of attach it, wherever, you want. One of the use case that similar use case that we had someone ask for is let's say you parked your car in a long-term, parking spot, parking lot, and you want to kind of you attach your camera, on the side of the car, and if somebody accidentally kind of dings your car, you would want to maybe in evidence by taking a picture, so you can do that sort of application as well with this camera. And since it's compact, you can place it anywhere you want, and the battery performance comes in handy, so that you don't have to keep recharging those batteries.
Perfect. So the short answer is yes. And now we got one more so about the ON Semiconductor support system. So do we do design and installation of the solution?
No, we don't. As I said, this is just a platform that we provide. This is not like an end solution. But having said that, we do work with, as I mentioned, Avnet, right? Avnet would kind of help you both. Either they could help, or like they have an OEM, partners who could help you in the design of the complete solution. As well, they might have partners who take care of the installation of the solution as well. But On doesn't do it. I think the best would be to kind of reach out to Avnet, where they might have these OEM partners who can help you with these for your solution.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj. So the next one here, hopefully the answer is yes, because they're asking, can the image sensor module be replaced with a higher resolution option? Only answer if the answer is yes. So hopefully...
Yes, the answer is yes. The primary one is, of course, the reason that we have an IIS module allows you to kind of have that portability of replacing it with, some other compatible IIS module. As I mentioned to you, we will have like a color version, which is the same resolution. And we are also thinking about having a higher resolution, sensor as well, like a 1 megapixel, resolution sensor as well. So we would, that's upcoming as well. But one thing that you have to realize is the more higher resolution that you go, it does impact your battery lifetime performance. So you have to, be cognizant of that. So, you have to see, okay, what is my resolution requirements versus my battery life performance. So there is always, those things that you need to, consider. But the answer to your question is yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj. So now a question about the battery, which you may have mentioned earlier, but how is the battery charged or changed?
Right. So we also have a rechargeable, we have the power management as well for you to support rechargeable batteries as well. Again, this is not an end, so you can actually use the USB to kind of recharge your batteries. So that's what you use, and we do have the circuitry on the kit itself for you to enable that.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj. So now we have a question about just asking data security and encryption. So can you talk a little bit about data security and encryption for the platform?
Right. Yeah. As I mentioned to you, before, we have this capability through our partners. One partner is Veridify, who provides security as well. Encryption, which is completely a software based solution. And then if you wanted like a hardware secure element with PKI and things like that, you can use a solution from our partner WiseKey. So those are the two options for you to add these capabilities to this camera platform.
Yep. Thanks, Raj. So everyone, take advantage of our partner network. We have a number of them that we work with, and you can find more information on them on our website as well.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So you talked a bit about different modes that it can be in. And so we have a question, can it be programmed to take bursts of photos? And then does it record the time at which the photo was taken?
Right. Yeah, you can actually, take a burst of images as well. As I mentioned, I think in the video that it's maybe like around 1 frames per second. That's the fastest that you can, get. And of course, you can, slow it down as well. In terms of recording the time, out of the box, we don't, do that, right? But you can add that data as well by just modifying, the software code that we provide. So yeah, so you out of the box, we don't do that, but you can do it yourself using the software that we have.
All right, thank you, Raj. So now we have a question here on what are the edge processing resources available for bandwidth limited applications to the cloud, for example?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I guess you're talking about ability to do like process, maybe the sensor data or even the image data. So so I think this is probably like last week. We did, announce a solution with one of our partner called Octonian. So they actually, offer edge AI capabilities running on the RSL10, which is what, is used in the Smartshot camera as well. And that's kind of like, not necessarily used in the camera. It's used in the sensor node, where they use the vibration sensor to kind of predict the machine health of the machines. So you can kind of like monitor those machines. But the same solution, can be used in this camera as well. So this is actually a partner, solution that you can use to do this edge processing on RSL10. So that's one option. We're also like looking at few other options wherein you can enable much more processing on the edge of the data from the sensor or from the image itself. I'm not able to share that information right now, but stay tuned. You would have like few more other information in the next in few months. Where you can enable much more, you can enable edge processing and much more use cases onto this camera platform.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj. So we only have a few more minutes here, so we can only get to a few more questions, unfortunately. But if we don't get to your question, please reach out on our website. We can get back to any technical questions you have as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So a few more questions here. Is there support for external actuators or devices, for example, pan tilt controllers or lighting relays?
Unfortunately, not on this particular camera module. Yeah, so but I can definitely take your inputs. We have other platforms where you can do that, like where you can actually control external actuators, motors. As I said, we also have like a complete connected light platform as well. But unfortunately, you cannot control it with this particular camera solution.
All right, thank you, Raj. So now we have a question here about something else that we also offer as a solution. Can the Snap camera work in the RSL10 mesh network?
Not at the moment. Again, you had to. It depends on the use case. In the case of like if you're using a mesh, it's typically used for like control purposes. But it can quickly get inundated if you are sending a lot of these data images onto the mesh network. Yeah, so that's why like from a use case point of view, we did not add that capability. But if there is a right use case, we can definitely look into it. But at the moment, you cannot actually work along with the RSL10 mesh network.
All right, thank you, Raj. We got another question about connectivity. Can it be connected using Wi-Fi?
Like unfortunately, the connectivity is not modular in this platform. And as I said, it all depends on the use case. Our focus was to like build ultra low power solution, and the BLE that we have is it's good enough to handle the connectivity and the loads, the image data loads. If you're of course moving into a higher resolution sensor, then Wi-Fi would be needed at that point. But since the Smartshot camera was not built with that intent, I think BLE is sufficient, and that's what we have right now.
All right, thanks, Raj. So we have time for just one last question here.
Okay.
So I'll ask you this last one. Is there the option to record video or high frame rate images? And are there options for any onboard storage?
Right. In terms of recording, video, as I mentioned, you can, do a continuous, record continuous stream of images from the camera, and you can get like 1 frames per second speed with this camera solution. In terms of like the onboard storage, currently there isn't any onboard storage, although we are looking into it. Currently, whenever the image is captured, it's kind of gets quickly sent to the gateway. It's not stored on board. But definitely we are kind of considering that as an option for our next revision of our solution.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Raj, and thanks for going through the excellent presentation. So yeah, thanks for your insight to everybody. Thank you to everybody that attended and that's asking questions. Sorry if we didn't get to your question here, but please reach out to us on onsemi.com. We have a community resource section on there and a community forum that you can pose any questions in, and we'll be sure to get back to you. So thank you, everybody, and have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, have a good day. Bye.